I think when you introduce new technologies in the classroom, you really have to spend a lot of time reflecting on the technology and what the technology can do for the learning in the classroom. That means that I had to explain to them that this is a tool that will, for example, help you collaborate, show your texts to others, and that is a constructive way of learning. And I also showed them that learning to use this new tool is something that we are going to learn together in the classroom. So that kind of collaboration and trust is very important, and I think that is what makes it possible to develop your teaching as well, because you don't do it as somebody who is professional in this. You invite the students along, and then it becomes a learning experience for both of us, me and the students. Creating trust in the classroom is vital, and it takes time. In the case where I started using blogs, I started quite early on in the year, and I didn't really know my students well enough. So if I'd known my students better and they had trusted me better, I would have been able to have a discussion. If I had discussed blogs with them, I would have known in this vocational class that they were hesitant, they didn't want to do it. Not all of them, but the stakeholders in the classroom, they were against it. But I didn't really know the class well enough to know what to say, how to argue with them, to take them into dialogue about the value of using blogs. In the other class, they were more positive in the beginning. I didn't really know that when I first started, but it was easier for me to convince them that this is something that is useful for their learning. I work a lot with developing trust in my classroom with each and individual student. It's very important, and the way I do that is to have small talk even before the class starts, and also when we are working in the classroom. I usually organize the classes so that students know what they're going to do, and that frees time for me to sit down and talk to the individual students. Sometimes I sit in the classroom, I sit next to them, and then we can talk about subjects, but we can also sometimes talk about other things. So this relationship of trust, it creates the possibility of introducing new elements, like new technologies, in the classroom. And I find that kind of atmosphere is very useful and very important. I usually, through coaching, for example, I manage to find their value systems, to understand what their values are, what motivates them. And these are things that I can use when I talk to students and try to give them tasks that are of value to them. And technology is fantastic in that way, because I have this possibility of variety. They don't have to work on the same topic to read the same texts. They can use the internet in many ways to reach the same goal.